Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Those of you on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook platforms. I'm T. Clay, and we're going to start off with Psalms 1. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the I Am, or the Father of spirits. And in his law doth he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. The ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor the sinners in congregation of the righteous. For the I Am knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. Psalms chapter 1. Most holy I Am that I am, the spirit that moved upon the water according to Genesis chapter 1. We thank you for all that you've done. We thank you for your mercy. We thank you for your favor. We thank you for how you are culminating this thing to where we're looking for that great day where we should have our King, even you. Yes. And his elect judge shall judge all the spirits and spirits of men, spirits of angels. He shall judge because he has sit down here and he knows the temptations of men that have happened down here on earth. Therefore, it makes him a true and just and faithful judge. Not like the crooked judge here is on earth, but yet a judge that we can trust. His judgment is just. Even you who caused this one to see your ways and how he received instructions from you. And we thank you for these things. Some in this land call themselves the Christ. They say, I am the Christ. They say this, but we shall know them by the fruits that they bear. Yes, even their rendition of the law, statutes, and judgments that they obey and that they display in their daily dealings with men and mankind. And most holy Sanini Nainini, help us to be mindful, to just meditate on your word day and night. Yes, we give you the glory and the praise for all things, because we know in those things we shall be made strong, prosperous, and victorious. And we thank you for these things. Yes. We're coming from the book of Enoch, chapter 56. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, those of you on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook platforms. I'm T. Clay. Yes, the book of Enoch, chapter 56. You know, one thing is that we find out as God lets down one nation, he picks up another. And this nation is these people. This is not nations. They really people, a collection of people. And they're fighting not to lose their supremacy, whether it's supremacy of color or supremacy of status, whatever supremacy there is. It doesn't matter about the color, but we know the majority of it is. But the fact is the color is to make a reference as to what supremacy should be. It's not necessarily that color. But then the supremacy becomes a status symbol. And they use a color for that status symbol of what supremacy or what decency or what a holy people should be when they display the opposite. Yes, God is shifting the powers. Yet it took a time for Babylon and the powers to shift to Persia. It took a while for Persia when the powers had shifted to Gracia. And it took from Gracia when the powers have shifted to Rome. And it took a little while where Rome it just fell apart. And then arise this great diverse creature. Yes, this diverse creature from different parts of the world. They didn't cleave to one another because this is the defeat that Daniel saw. But yet, this small little people, yes. A stone hewn out of a great mountain, a mighty people, a mighty God. God is that mountain. came and fell upon that feet of that image. And once that stone hit that feet, it grinded to powder. Nothing left. Yes, that great and notable day will come one day. The book of Enoch, chapter 56. And I saw there the host of the angels of punishment going. And they held scourges and chains of iron and bronze. And I asked the angel of peace, who went with me, saying, to whom are these who hold the scourgings going? Now, this is just one book of the different books of Enoch. He says, where are the scourges going? And he said to me, to their elect and beloved ones, that they may cast them into the chasm of the abyss of the valley. These are the holes that Enoch saw, as we read in the previous chapter. And then that valley shall be filled with their elect, these people that they favor, these people they have chose, the presidents, the kings and the judges, all these people that have oppressed others that they thought were lesser than them because of their greed. Yes, they've chosen their children and they've chosen their relatives to be those who would inherit the power that they have amassed during their time. He said, and beloved, and the days of their lives shall be in an end. You know, God's going to cut them all off. And the days of their leading astray shall not thenceforward be reckoned. Verse 6. And in those days the angels shall return and fall upon them who are in the east, the messengers in the east. So you have to realize all this stuff is operating by spirits that influence the minds of men, and they do know what our desires and our lust are. Yes, they do know these things. You can watch a man and a woman and see what they do every day, and you know what their lust and their desires and their hopes and their dreams are. You don't even have to hear a word from them. Just watch how they go to work. Just watch how they get in debt. Just watch how they deal with other human beings. That's all you have to do. You don't have to say a word. You don't even have to say, oh, you this, you that. No, you watch them. And you will see, for by their fruit you will know them. Now he says, just return and fall upon them who are in the east. Now he's talking about, and he said, upon the Parthians and the Medes, Persians, and the Medes. They always change in names. And they shall stir up the kings, so that a spirit of unrest shall come upon them, and they shall rouse them and from their thrones. Come on here. That they may break forth as lions from their lairs and as hungry wolves among their flocks. And they shall go up and tread under the foot of the land of his elect ones. And the land of his elect ones. He's talking about Jacob. Yes. And the land of his elect ones shall be before them a threshing floor and a highway. A threshing floor. What do you do when you thresh? You beat the seeds out the wheat. You thresh it on the ground and it knocks the wheat out. And you raise it up and the wind blows the chaff away. Come on here. Now. And the highway. But the city of my righteous shall be an hindrance to their horses. Yes. He said, hold up, I got a blockage to you. You're not going to pass over. In verse 11, they shall begin to fight among themselves. What is happening? This is happening in the past and it's going to happen now. He's way back there. He knew about the Persians, the Medes and the Persians. They fought. This is Babylon and the Persians. Do you understand? He said, and their right hand shall be strong against themselves. And a man shall not know his brother, nor shall a son know his father or his mother. In other words, there'll be enemies. They'll be set against each other. Until there be no number of the corpses through their slaughter, and their punishment be not in vain. Jacob just went through this. Then he comes to another people. And in those days, Sheol shall open his mouth. He's talking about the grave, the mass graves, the blood-soaked ground. That's what he's talking about. And they shall be swallowed up therein. And their destruction shall be at an end, for Sheol shall devour the sinners in the presence of who? Jacob. And this has happened with the Medes and the Persians. Now it came to pass in verse 57 after this, that I saw another host of chariots, men riding thereon, coming on the winds from the east and from the west to the south. And the noise of their wagons was heard in heaven. Hold up now. The spiritual things happen in heaven. They're established. God already knows these things. He shows those who he delegates authority to, even the four horsemen. These four horsemen, they were in the beginning. You read them in the book of Zechariah, chapter 1, chapter 3. Yes, they're there. The power of having a chariot with many horses on it. This was powerful back in those days. And when you get to the book of Revelation, when it gets down to one rider and one horse, then it becomes swift. Because one horse can ride faster, but a group of horses can carry more weight and power. Think about it. Now, it says another host of chariots, men riding thereon, coming on the winds from the east and from the west to the south. And the noise of their wagons was heard in heaven. And when this turmoil took place, the holy ones from heaven remarked it, and the pillars of the earth were removed from their place. And the sound thereof was heard from the one end of heaven to the other in one day. In other words, there's something that was established before it even happened. And they shall all fall down and worship the Father of spirits. And this is the end of the second parable. Now, he was talking about a time where we know that there was Babylon, there was Persia, the Medes and the Persians. They were defeated by who? Gracia. And then the fact is, Gracia was defeated by Rome, and then they became two, and that was the legs. And then all of a sudden they became Rome. Rome split. Now, this is not only spiritually, but it's also physically that these things have happened. Are you so blind that you do not see how God has really showed us how he delivers people, how he delivers a nation and a people? Are you so lazy that you do not study these scriptures and these books and these things to know what God desires of you? First of all, these things would never happen if Jacob, even Jacob himself, would have continued in the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. They would never have happened. For Jacob, even to this day, would have been one that the nations would come to. They wouldn't have to worry about getting fed or being hungry. They would not have to worry about the heat by day and the cold by night, nor the snow, nor the freezing rain. They wouldn't have to worry these things because Jacob is merciful. Jacob is, should I say, he's compassionate. Yes, there would have been no need for no deliverer, no Moses or another Moses. No need, because Jacob would have displayed the righteousness of the Most High to all generations, even to this day. We would have not known the racism and the bias and the wars and all these other things, because Jacob would have cleaved to the law, statutes, and commandments of his God. It's better to have not to fall away from God. It's better to not even been born. Why are we born? To worship and praise the Most High each day. To fall down and worship, even the elect one, that one you call Yahushua, he shall fall down before the Father of spirits and worship. Note that the Father of Spirit does delegate his power and authority to different entities. I mean, you can see this. Can you not see? If your mind been so blinded by the opinions of preachers and teachers and these here, and some even say, oh, because he reads out of a book, he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's just a book. This book, you can see that if you weigh the things out of these books, you can see the history and all the things that have happened in the land. Do not be deceived. God would always honor his word and will let none of his foretellings fall to the ground. And with that, we're going to say peace.